All right, everyone. So I'm going to give you my recap for today. We're going to go over the trades from this morning. I traded two stocks, INBS and CVKD. INBS is currently up, let's see, 377% as of right now. It was gapping up 281%. It was on the top of the gap scanner this morning. But CVKD previously was the leading gapper. It was gapping up actually over 100% at one point as it squeezed on news at 8:30, which was a FDA fast track designation headline. Now, the thing that's kind of a bummer on this one is that it did not hold up. We had the IPO, which was just on Friday, and I tend to really like trading a stock that just IPO'd for the recent IPO breakout. So it IPOs, it halts up, it hits a high of $6.75. It then drops back down, halts down, sells off, comes back up, drops back down, ends up being a little bit choppy. And then this morning, all of a sudden it starts to pop up here right at 8:30. So I use these are the scanners that I've developed to help me find these types of stocks in real time, because this clearly is a huge opportunity. The stock went from $4 to $9 a share. And so the way I find it is right on my scanner. So we're going to scroll back a little bit, look at see some of the other alerts that came out earlier this morning. And what we want to look at is right around 8:30 a.m. when the news came out on CVKD. Now, this is kind of like radar for me in that it's searching the market right now, even right now, in real time, looking for stocks that meet a certain set of criteria. So I'm looking for stocks that are moving up quickly. I'm looking for stocks that are moving quickly in real time. And when I see that, I don't initially know exactly why it's moving. I just know that it's moving. So you can see here how CVKD was lighting up the scanners. All right, so let's see. It hit the first scanner alert was at 8:30 a.m., 8:30 and 15 seconds. So it took about 12 seconds for it to hit the scanners. I think that was the first alert that we got on it. And that was at $4.40. So my workflow is I see a stock hit the scanner. I can click on it. That'll update my charts here. And I could start looking at my chart. And what I saw in this one was that, okay, we've got a stock that just IPO'd yesterday, just IPO'd on Friday. It's popping up right here, and it's at 8:30, which means there's probably news. So I didn't even know what the news was on it yet. I just knew that there clearly was news because it had moved up this quickly. So with my first order, I pressed the buy button, and this was, let's see, let me go back to my very first order. I pressed the buy button and got filled at $4.57. Not bad. I added at $4.91. On this candle here, it hit a high of 5. Actually, it hit 4.99, and then it dropped here down to 4.42, and I sold it because I was in at 4.57 and then added at 4.91. So I actually sold it for a $50 loss. I got in, it didn't break through 5, I got back out. I was like, all right, well, that was a little bit of a bummer. It went up and then it came back down. Then I got back in as it curled back up here at 485. This time, 1,500 shares, smaller position. It hits high of 505. It didn't break that level. I sold it at 5 and made, $175 or something like that. So it put me in the green on the day, but it wasn't really a big winner. Then it sells off again, drops down to 440, and it curls back up. And I was watching it right here to get back in at 475, which was the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. And that would have been a terrific entry. I didn't take that entry. I just sort of wasn't totally sure. So, and I was a little bit distracted. I was looking at the chat feed and I was checking some other things. So, excuse me. So it comes back up and it breaks through, it hits 505, and I jumped in right there at 504 with 2,000 shares. I then added another 1,000 shares at 519, and it goes up to 525, 530 right here. All right, so it goes up to 5, then 25, then it goes up to 549, 580, up to 644. Holy smokes. Now this thing is really moving quickly. It goes up to 697. It then pulls back. And as it comes back up right here and breaks through 7, I added at 7. Let me scroll up a little bit so I can see those trades. So I added, let's see, at 669 and 675. It goes through 7. I added 722, 784. I added at $8. I even added at the high of 846. I took profit at at 828 as it went higher. And then, of course, I added back at 846. I then took profit at 878, added back at 840, took profit at 850. That was like a little dip trade. It pops back up. Added back at 794 as it pulled back off the highs. Got a pop back here up to 850. Added again right here on this bottoming tail. Was looking for the breakthrough 8, but it didn't break through 8. And then I kind of was like, this is feeling like it's not breaking back over 8. It's pulling back a little bit. And at that point, so this was at about 847. At that point, let's look at INBS. And this is very typical in the market, that momentum and focus will shift from one stock to another. So at that time, we had, this was about 47.57? So that was about the time that INBS was starting to pull away and volume was starting to come into this. So now traders were sort of shifting focus as INBS was moving higher. And it was also, INBS was reclaiming its position as the leading gapper. So CVKD took that top place for a moment as it hit $9 and was up, 40%, 80%, 100%. And then it started to pull back. And as that pulled back, it dipped down on the scanner and INBS was back above it. So leading gappers and gainers are important to focus on, and they can change throughout the morning. So then INBS starts moving up. We got a nice squeeze here through $1. And so, by the way, the first possible trade, which would have been really nice, was over 60 cents. But you guys know I don't usually trade penny stocks, and so I didn't pay much attention to it down here. But I did trade it as it came up here. And I got in at $1 and added over $1.05, and we got squeezing a halt up at the open at $1.14. We hit a high here of $1.43. It hit $1.50, pulled back. It broke over it, then halted down, and now is pulling back a little bit more. But overall, provided some great opportunities. It's up right now 365%. So, 368%. This thing is moving. I mean, it's coming back down a little bit, but really solid price action today. So I wasn't, I didn't come in today expecting to have a big green day. It just ended up, we got great action in the market. And so where I'm sitting right now over the last, few trading sessions, as I had a red day on Tuesday of last week. All right, so it was down 7,300 including commission. So I had a red day right there, and that's about on par with some of my recent red days that are, I have the $5,000 max loss, but then, those are the red days where I'm down like 3,000, and then I take one last trade and I lose, 3 or 4 grand on it, and it puts me at my max loss. So, I've been on kind of a grind. I had a really good stretch here in August and September, and then I gave back some profit in October. I finished green, but, I made some money in the first half and then gave back most of it. So I only made a little bit in October, I think 30,000 or something like that. And then November was slow and December was slow. And January, has been slow. And then of course I had that red day where I gave back a little bit of profit, but I did recoup that loss. I had a good day on Wednesday, a good day on Thursday, a good day Friday. And now here today, it's a $10,000 green day. So my philosophy right now of trying to show up every single day and just be here, I think it's working. I've been trading pretty consistently. Let's see, we can look at gross and then net. So the gross profit here for the month of January, all green except for one day that was red, and that's in net. And then gross profit here for the month, you could see commissions are certainly adding up. Some of the days, like on this day where I overtraded a bit, the commissions are higher. But in any case, green is good. I want to trade more aggressively on days when it's hot and then try to ease back a little bit on days when it's cold. And I do feel like I should have stopped a little sooner on Tuesday, the day that I went red. I definitely overstayed my welcome a little bit on that day. So we can look at these trades here. I went red, kind of made back some of it, went back down, made back some of it, went back down, and then in one trade got stubborn and went from down, 25. Well, I was really only down like 1,700, and then I lost like 4,000 on that trade. So, but it was like I was bear flagging. I mean, the writing was on the wall. I was already struggling. I was red the whole morning. So, I probably should have thrown in the towel sooner. And I need to get better at that because I'd probably have an extra $4,000 in my pocket right now if I had walked away a little earlier on that day. So, anyways, something I'm thinking about a little bit. Just trying to keep the red days small and as few and far between as I can, and then that way, when I have a day like today, rather than having it be recouping losses and digging myself out of the hole, it's just adding profit to the to my account. So anyways, that's it for me. A brief recap here. The two stocks I traded, INBS and CVKD. On INBS, I left some money on the table on it. I could have made more. I could have traded a little bit more aggressively, but I'd already captured some good profit, and I sort of felt like, you know what? Let's not, I don't want to overstay my welcome. On the one hand, I want to be more aggressive when it's hot, but sometimes you'll make some good money on one stock and then you go on to another one and then you end up giving it all back. So if CVKD had kept going and had gone from 9 to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, that would have been one I would have kept trading really aggressively because I was in the zone on it. Switching to INBS, my first trades were at $1. I was getting in high. I didn't want to take massive size. That's how I ended up losing last week on that 30,000 share position where I lost like 15 cents on whatever it was on Tuesday. So I didn't want to do that again. So left some money on the table, but you never feel as bad leaving money on the table when you've got profit in your pocket. FWBI hitting the scanners here as it's moving a little higher from 470 up to 5. Recent reverse split. Could be an interesting one. But I'm going to take the profit off the table and live to trade another day. So I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoy these recaps. Appreciate you guys hitting the thumbs up. And I want to remind you, as always, that trading is risky and my results aren't typical. And there's no guarantee you'll find success. Whether you trade on your own, you'll learn from me. So please trade cautiously, practice in a simulator, and I'll see you back here first thing tomorrow morning.